Right, welcome to M-tel. The other day I had a bit of a dilemma, a bit of a problem with this vectra. Whilst trying to do the glow plugs, unfortunately, whilst I was trying to take the glow plug out of cylinder number 3, I snapped the electrode off in the cylinder head. In the last couple of days I've been spending trying to actually remove this glow plug tip, the electrode, so not the actual whole body itself, but just the tip, which is this bit. Now, it's becoming quite regularly now that they're building glow plugs like this, that because the ends are so small, when you try to undo them, they shear and snap off in the cylinder head. I've had it a couple of times, and unfortunately I had to take the cylinder heads off to actually have them taken out, and then I decided with this attempt to actually try and to get it out, so faff about and actually try and remove it. So that's what I did. So what I did is I made a couple of tools. Now basically these electrodes, the tip of the electrode, they're actually hollow and they've got like a soft material through the middle. So theoretically you can drill the core out and tap it, which is what I did. So basically what I've done is, as you can see, this is the electrode I managed to remove with a little thread in it. And basically I threaded the tip and then pulled it out basically. Now it didn't work the way I expected it to at first, and I actually had some troubles. Basically what I did is I proceeded to make some tools first of all. So what I did is, first of all, I had to drill the tip, and obviously it's right down in the cylinder head. You can see how long it is. The thread's there in the cylinder head, so it's all that in the cylinder head basically. So what I did is I used the old glow plug, which is here, and I basically drilled in to the electrode which was remaining in the old glow plug, pressed in a 2.5mm drill bit, and then put a couple of little welds around it basically and ground it back. And then I ground off the actual threaded part of the electrode of the glow plug, so I could then theoretically just slide it into the cylinder head and drill the electrode which was in the head still. So that's what I did. So I basically made that, attached that along like rod there. Now I didn't even need to drill it with a hand drill. The substance in the electrodes are so soft, I theoretically put it in the head and I just pushed down on it and drilled into it by hand. And I actually sunk this drill bit into the electrode by about a good 15mm, like quite effortlessly. So then after I'd done that, I then made another tool, out of another glow plug. And on that one what I did is I snapped the head, so the electrode part, which is this part, I didn't snap it off, but I turned it and popped it, and then I yanked the core out basically, and the remaining core come out like this. So the core come out like that basically, leaving the body of this glow plug hollow. And then what I proceeded to do, because I drilled a 2.5mm hole into the back of the glow plug tip, I then pushed a M3 tap into the end, and then I tacked that on, same thing again, ground the thread away, put this bar on, welded a nut on so I could turn it and screw it in, and that's what I did. So then I done that, put that into the head, screwed it into the back of the head, and what I had is I had a big socket on the back, so I was going to use it as a sliding hammer to pop the electrode out. So I'd done that, wound that into the head, tapped it, got that in, got my socket, pop, 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 and snapped the tap on the end, leaving the tap in the back of the glow plug. So then I was like, oh. Right. So then, luckily enough though, when I did it, there was a little blob of weld on the side, so I managed to squish it, put it over, and then unscrew it, and I got the tap out of the electrode. And then what I then proceeded to do was then I soldered an M3 screw in, because it's softer metal, more pliable. So I did that, welded that in, screwed that in, and started pulling again. I got it up about 10mm out of the head, and then bang, snapped it again, leaving the thread in the back of the electrode this time, and I couldn't unscrew it because it was just straight brake, so then I was basically stuffed. So then I decided that the only course of action then was to drive the electrode into the combustion chamber, pull the injector out and fish the glow plug tip out of the injector port. So that's what I proceeded then to do. So I then removed the injector, cleaned out the port, and then I made myself a little tool. And this is a tool I made. And basically there's a tiny little magnet in the end, and this is heat shrink, bit of M5 poly pipe, pushed it over, warmed it up, shrunk it round, and made myself a little magnetic fishing tool to get the glow plug out of the tip, out of the combustion chamber. So I did that, and then what I decided to do is now I needed to make something to push that tip into the plug. So then I got a bit of bar, drilled a hole, 2.5mm hole, and then basically what I was going to do is put it on there. And the reason why I drilled the hole is because I didn't want to bend the thread and snag it in the head, so I wanted to support it, so I drilled the hole. Now I put it over the actual glow plug tip and then drove it into the cylinder. But in the process of me doing this, originally I couldn't get it out. It came out about 10mm and then snagged, wouldn't come out anymore because all the carbon packed around the outside of the tip, so it wouldn't come any further, and all it kept doing was breaking all the little threaded bars and bits that I put in it. Now basically I found when I actually put this on and then tapped that on and the thread went in there and it wedged itself together, I then a couple little taps and drove it into the cylinder. Obviously it had been soaking with WD, but then it was obviously stuck on the end of the electrode. The thread was stuck into the end. Now rather than unscrewing it and letting it drop in, I decided, well, I pushed it in, I can easily just give it a couple of taps and it'll fall off into the cylinder. But that didn't actually happen. As I basically gave it a couple little pulls, it actually then come out of the glow plug pull. So I actually managed to pull it out on the end. And basically the reason why is because when I pushed it into the actual chamber, all the carbon that was surrounding it and packing it out and stopping it from moving was released. And then where the electrode had been snapped off, it was quite sharp at the back. So as I started pulling it out, it actually scraped the carbon off of the back and basically packed it in round the screw thread. So it cleaned the hole, basically, and dug all the carbon out of the hole, and it just went, literally it was like pop, pop, by hand, didn't even need to put the actual socket on it, a couple little tugs, and it just straight out. So I spent all that time getting an injector out for absolutely nothing. But so yeah, so if you're having this trouble and you have been unfortunate to snap your electrode off in your cylinder head, so you can get it out. So use the old glow plugs. This is a new one that I haven't put in yet. Use the old glow plugs and make a tool out of them. Now you can see, I'll show you what I've done. So there's the first one, and that's a 2.5mm drill bit. Obviously check the tip size of your electrode, because if you've got like a one that you've managed to pull out, cut the electrode tip off and have a look. And my electrode, the hole in the end of it, once you drilled the soft core out, was literally bang on 2.5. So I tapped it with an M3. So yeah, so obviously you'll have to do a bit of creativity to make it work how you need to work, because all glow plugs are different. Obviously there's the first one with the drill bit mounted in it with the shaft that I used to turn it and drill it. That's the other one. There's no longer a tap on the end, but if you imagine the tap would have been on the end like that, and I turned that and tapped that, I put a nut on the end to give me a good bit of reach so I could get in there quite nicely. And then obviously that's the other bit, and that's the electrode there screwed into the end of it. So there you go, and it does work. But if you can't tug it out for the first couple of tugs, drop the piston. So obviously, because if you punch this in and the piston's up, you'll punch the tip straight through the piston, which is bad. Drop the cylinder, so drop the piston so you've got a bit of room. Tap it in before you pull it out. And then as you pull it out, it'll scrape all the carbon out and it'll come out. So just make sure you douse it in WD as well for a good bit of time. Right, so there you go. Hope this has been useful and some good information for you to get you out of the scrape. Thank you for watching. If you like my videos, please share and subscribe, and I'll share my videos about. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you soon.